Hello everyone, how's everybody doing today? My name is Jaspir and welcome to your own channel. I'm here to help you heal, rise, and live more soul aligned. I don't do just readings, I help you discover yourself. I do transformations, help you bring you back to yourself. Who are you beyond this matrix, this Maya, the illusion in this world that we're living in? So today's video, it's like the training wheels are coming off the bicycle. Finally, we're walking into Venus. So today's video is the shift from Ketu Mahadasha and going into Venus Mahadasha, what to expect, how is your journey going to be. Because so far, most of my videos have been on Ketu, and a lot of subscribers who are family members to this home, you guys are in Ketu Mahadasha and you're really wondering how Venus is gonna go. So this video provides a general guidance on going from Ketu Mahadasha into Venus Mahadasha. When will you finally see your success? And what is life gonna look like in Venus? Who is Venus? And how to live life in your Venus Mahadasha. And first of all, I want to say thank you to everyone who subscribed so far. Thank you to everyone who writes, they reach out. Some of you contact for reading, some of you just contact for sharing your story. It's amazing. I love hearing from you guys, connecting with every single one of you. And just a short message I want to give. Today is July 24th, and we're going to be having a new moon. So make sure every single one of you get lots of rest. Your body's healing. There's a lot of stuff happening internally. There's a big quantum shifts going on. So give your body time to rest and heal. You might be waking up heavy, pains in the body. I suggest if you can go swimming, just go bathe in the water, sit in the water for a while, let your body heal. If you cannot, take lots of rest and drink lots of water. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a new series. And instead of doing the planets, more astrology, the transits and weekly transits and stuff, I want to spend a few days on healing. A lot of you don't even know what healing looks like. How are we supposed to heal? Because this is not something that's taught in school. It's not something that our parents can teach us. It's something we are totally unaware of through our life. And Ketu Mahadasha was all about healing the 7 chakras, healing our inner body so we can become our truest form to live more authentically, more soul aligned during Venus. But how does healing happen? I'm going to do so many different videos on it over the next couple weeks, and I hope you guys like it. And please, if there's other stuff, always leave comments and what you would like to know, what you want to hear. What is it that we should be doing next? I would love to hear from you in the comments, or just email me. What is it that you want to talk about, or what to like to learn more? I'll do more videos on astrology after the healing. So I'll start the healing series and we'll shift back into astrology, or combining astrology for healing. So let's get started on today's video. Ketu Mahadasha changed you for 7 years. It brought some very important life lessons, some important cord cutting, boundary setting, and you discovering yourself. That was very important. Now, everyone thinks that as soon as Venus comes around, magical doors are going to open and there's going to be a flood of money, wealth, and life is going to change completely. That's not the case. Venus does give all that, but it takes time, depending on where Venus is placed in your chart. And remember, after Ketu, we're not after material success anymore. Okay, when will I have private jet? When will I have properties? When will I make so much money again? Those are ego desires. They just come, leave them aside. We have learned to live and appreciate life in a completely different manner now through Ketu. We have rediscovered going from ego love to unconditional love. Venus Mahadasha comes around for 20 years. And it is such a magical period for Taurus ascendant, Libra ascendant, and if Venus is placed in the second house, if Venus is sitting in its own nakshatra, it's even a more magical period. So there's no such thing as a bad time if we're entering Venus, so don't be scared. It's all about how you perceive life, what's good and what's bad to you. So 20 years, but there's a word going around that everybody's scared of at the end of Ketu, known as Ketu sting. I don't believe in such a term. I have done a lot of research, a lot of readings. I don't have case studies to prove that there is such a word out there. But there is a period that you all have to be careful with. And now I'm going to guide you going from Ketu to Venus Mahadasha. So Ketu is there for 7 years. And people think that as soon as Venus comes, they can reopen their businesses, get more loans, and they'll be successful, and let's start chasing the money again and forget about the spiritual time, and let's step into truly Venus and start making the money, and we're going to be setting us up in businesses. Slow down. Slow down. This is where that Ketu problem comes in, the Ketu sting that I've done a lot of research on. And I know for a fact you will get stuck in Venus. Everybody needs to cross this milestone with patience. Please. This is where everybody gets stuck. What is that time period? So before I tell you that, I want to give you a reminder. I usually don't talk about mythological stories or the past, Mahabharata, Ramayana, and all these things, but there's a time period, and it's very significant for all of you. It serves as a reminder of when you gain your kingdom back. Lord Rama, he was sent to Banwas or exile. He was kicked out of the kingdom. He had to leave home for Banwas for a period of how many years? I think every single subscriber behind the screen watching, they probably know this time period was for 14 years. So there's no significant research available for me at this point that I can back up my facts with dates and figures. But from this time period, what have we learned? That it's a time period of 14 years before gaining your kingdom back. Ketu comes for 7 years. You don't get your kingdom back at 7. You get it back from 14. Now, what I want you to do, even if you have to pause this video, I want you to calculate when your Ketu started. Let's say it's 2020. Okay? Somebody who began his Ketu Mahadasha in 2020, now add 14 years. Lord Rama gained his kingdom back after 14 years, not 7. You don't gain success. You don't gain your throne back at the end of Venus. You gain it at 14 years. So add 14 years to 2020 if your Ketu Mahadasha started. So 14 years added to 2020 gives you 2034. Now look at your chart. What's there at 2034? After 14 years, Venus Rahu. Your life changes. You have completely achieved success by 2034. This is when you're stepping into your highest potential. 7 years of reconditioning and healing in Ketu, and 7 years of preparation on getting back to who you were or who you are meant to be, to your highest power. Now, what I want you to be careful with, this Ketu sting that's been going around, or this time period that everybody has to be careful. It's not in Ketu, it comes in Venus. And what is it? It's not Venus. It usually starts in Venus Sun, and you end up in some kind of turmoil in Venus Moon. Venus does not have a good relationship with the Sun and with the Moon. It hates the Moon. You want to cross those 2 years of your life very humbly. No big ego moves. No sudden changes in life. You want to see what is it you're about to do. This is the part that I can back up with my case studies to show you evidence that people have messed up here. They have made some decisions from the ego and then they fall face flat. You're not supposed to be making big ego decisions here. Remember the lessons of Ketu. Don't run after desires and ego and do wrong things again. So what are some examples? I'll just give you one brief example. There was someone I was talking to over the weekend, and Venus, Jupiter they were in. And what happened in Venus Moon? She was a student, and she was in doing her graduate studies. She decided to cheat a little bit in the end of Venus Sun and towards Venus Moon. She got hit with a lot of trouble from school. She got caught for a silly mistake. A top performing student ends up making a silly mistake. So Venus tests your ethics and morals here. So this is a testing phase of Venus here. Only then do Venus and Mars pair up and get your success back at Venus Rahu. So this is one tip that is very important. Every single one of you watching who's going to cross over from Ketu to Venus, do not make big changes or big sudden investments in Ketu's Venus Sun or Venus Moon. Do not make any moves from your ego. Think that you know it all or you're going to do something. You'll get trapped. Don't make any wrong or unethical decisions in that time period. That's what Ketu has taught you, to be pure, give love unconditionally, help others, and set up those boundaries. If you're breaking your own boundaries, Venus traps you. It's not Ketu. It's not Ketu's sting here. And throughout Venus Mahadasha, the rest of the time period is good. Hey, success comes. Venus Rahu is here. You are sitting on your throne now. You are the CEO. You have multiple businesses, or you're doing good in your job, family, life, work. Everything is going to balance. Awesome. Live a life of harmony throughout Venus Mahadasha. If you get shifted towards the ego side, this is another checkpoint in life. This is where I've seen people suffering. And what is it? It's the end of Venus Mahadasha. Because who comes at the end? Venus Ketu. I've done a lot of readings, and you know what people say to me? Hey Jasper, that Venus Ketu period was like 7 years of hell of Ketu squeezed down to 1. Because people had forgotten how to live a life in harmony. So Ketu will test you again at the end of Venus. What does Ketu do? Ketu passes a torch to you, and it's like, hey, go live more soul aligned and all the things you're supposed to learn in Ketu. Now Venus is here guiding you. I'm going to tell you what Venus is and what Venus Mahadasha brings. So you're living this dasha, and at the end there's a checkpoint. And who's the guardian of that checkpoint? It's Ketu. Ketu will ask you, have you started accumulating wealth again from ego? Is it all mine, 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 mine? How attached are you? Ketu will create circumstances when you might have to give that up. Did you earn it from greed? Or did you earn an honest living all these 20 years? So you don't want to be sitting there end of Venus Mahadasha, almost going bankrupt, or suffering again from a divorce or something else because you were chasing pleasure in the wrong way. So this just provides a very brief general summary of what Venus Mahadasha could look like when you're going from Ketu to Venus. Again, everybody's chart is different. Everybody's Venus is placed differently. Everybody's Venus is sitting in a different sign. Everybody's Venus is sitting in a different nakshatra. So please don't read comments and think your Venus Mahadasha, or don't compare Venus Mahadasha to somebody else out there. Everybody has a different journey. Everybody has a different chart. But these generic timelines, they serve as checkpoints to everybody because everybody's tested. So now, who is Venus? Okay. What is Venus? And what are the lessons of Venus Mahadasha? Venus is usually known as Shukracharya in the Vedic term. Now, Venus is associated with money, wealth, luxury, desire, beauty, and pleasure in everyday life. But there's more to these things that Venus says. And we have to use these material desires and transform ourselves to the higher consciousness. And I'll tell you how that happens. But first, what is Venus Mahadasha? And how should one be living in Venus Mahadasha? So Venus Mahadasha, as we know, is an amazing time period that comes for 20 years. And it's here to teach us unconditional love, inner harmony, and detachment from material pleasures. So you don't want to be a victim who falls trapped for these type of things. So even though Venus brings beauty, relationships, luxury, wealth, creativity, but the deeper lesson here, it's not to become attached to these outer pleasures. Instead, what and how you should be living. You're invited to refine your values. What kind of values? The values that you learned in Ketu. What brings you true joy? And I'll give you one example. Are you buying joy and pleasure with money? Or are you finding joy on the inside? So there's a few of you who are in your 30s and 40s and who have little kids and who are having their first kids. So is there more joy in buying a Jeep, buying a scooter, buying dolls for your kids? Or is there more joy in you picking up a soccer ball and playing with a kid in the field? So find that inner joy that cannot be purchased with money. Balance, that's one. Second thing, balance love and desire with spiritual growth. Now, are you chasing wrong kind of pleasure again in Venus? Or are you devoted and committed to your partner and using that love for your soul growth and transforming through to it, to your higher self? And I'm going to be talking about these things in my healing videos. Next one is appreciate beauty without craving. And this goes many ways. Appreciate the beauty in nature, art, love. Compliment the opposite gender without craving or time, intimacy with them. Admire how beautiful and handsome they are. Admire their beauty without being egoistic, without being attached to them. Let's say, I'll do both genders. If you're male or female, you're working in the office, corporate life, and you've gone from Ketu now to Venus, and people are attracted to you, or you're attracted to somebody else in Venus Mahadasha or somebody else out there, and you guys click, but you're married at home. There's nothing wrong with admiring your coworker or saying, hey, you look beautiful today, or you're well dressed, or I like your smile, whatever. Keep it that level. Don't become egoic. Don't start flirting with wrong intentions. So admire the beauty without ego. So in Venus Mahadasha, Venus comes here that true fulfillment comes from inner peace and divine love, not external comforts. That's the joy of 20 years of Venus Mahadasha. Remember, Venus not only rules Taurus, okay? Venus rules Libra, the scale, the balance, harmony. Venus, through its Mahadasha, your soul journey, what do you go through? You go through experiencing love, beauty, harmony, devotion. And not just in worldly pleasures, but you use these things to reach a higher consciousness. Like, for example, divine love, okay, is represented by Venus. Venus teaches us that love is a spiritual force. Unconditional, devotional, and selfless love can be used to reach higher consciousness. So, like I've said before, love, your heart chakra here. Love is what dissolves the ego and connects you to the divine, the higher consciousness. You move up from the ego-based desires, lust, greed, and use unconditional love to transform yourself. Venus also teaches that beauty and statics and pleasure is a path to the divine. True beauty, whether it be nature, art, relationships, helps uplift the soul. Venus reminds us that love is sattvic, pure, unconditional. And Venus beauty elevates us. Don't get tangled up with ego desires. And Venus, like I said, is Libra, all about harmony and balance. What kind of harmony? What kind of equilibrium? Inner harmony. And yin and yang energy, masculine and feminine energy, okay? The balance between desire and detachment. You can't live life without being fully detached. You can't always be looking for desires. There's a happy balance there. And I'm going to be talking about this through my healing videos. And Venus really helps you refine your desires. But see, Venus represents sensual pleasures, right, in many different forms. But it urges us to transform that fire, transform those desires into higher longing, into higher consciousness. For what? For the truth, for the love, for the divine union. And Venus teaches us gratitude and contentment. Venus teaches that life is full of joy and don't cling to it. Spiritual joy lies in acceptance and contentment, not gathering, not accumulating, not ego. Mine. No, nothing's yours. You don't even own your own body. You don't even own your breath. So how can you say, this is mine? So Venus, and I'm going to talk about this now, is the guru. Everybody knows. But guru of what? Asuryas, they're called. The material beings, the desires. And Venus shows us that even in a materialistic world here, in this matrix, you can find your way back to inner happiness, to your inner soul, to your inner child, to your true purpose, through doing things that make you happy, like art, unconditional love, devotion, through relationships, through beauty, if practiced with awareness. And now I want to talk about Asuryas, right? What is that energy? And how are they represented mythologically? Asuryas are the opposite. Well, there's Jupiter, that's wisdom, but then there's Venus, the real guru, right? So Venus represents a different type of teaching, knowledge, a guru. So Venus is represented as the gurus of the Asuryas. So Asuryas are usually a group of powerful beings, or that powerful energy that's the dark side, right? The demonic or the devils. No, there's no devils that get awakened up. Asurya represents, like if there's yin, there's yang. If there's day, there's night. So if there's unconditional love, there's ego. So Asurya energy is associated by ego, materialism, ambition, control. And whereas the other side, it's unconditional love, purity, spirituality, right? So what happens in Venus? Venus teaches you that you have to find yourself fighting through these desires. Moh, Maya, Krodh, Lobh, like in Sikhism it's taught, but it's said it in different languages, but in English simply ego, lust, like I said, control, ambition. So you have to overcome these, and Venus teaches us that. Venus is the teacher that helps you uplift. Ketu started the process, but Venus is the one that teaches you through life to live above these. So don't be attached. Venus will bring them, but don't be attached to these ego-driven pleasures. Now, Venus brings wisdom and knowledge. Venus is highly intelligent. Venus' energy, if somebody practices it with devotion, is a master of mantras, astrology, Tantra, alchemy, and if somebody is highly devotional, what kind of tantric powers were tantric is taking the changing matter from one energy form to something else, changing ice to liquid to gas. That's tantric, right? Tantric doesn't always represent black magic. Whenever somebody hears the word tantra, black magic. No, it's changing the state of matter from one form to another. That's being tantric. Engineers do that all the time. Engineers are tantric. Surgeons are tantric. Astrologers are tantric. Because when you're lost, when you need guidance, when you're hopeless, you go to a guru, a teacher, a mentor, astrologer, and they help you find the light. That's the process of Tantra. Going from darkness to being able to find light, to being able to find hope. So, someone with great practice, everybody works from ego these days, but somebody in Venus, if you follow your Ketu practices, and it's going to be very hard in today's world, but Venus has the capacity to unlock Mitra Sanjeevani Vidya. It's being able to revive the dead. Now, to truly bring back someone back to their consciousness, to revive a dead body, it's next to impossible in today's world. You need a lot of devotion. But it's a similar process to be able to bring back someone from depression back to joy. Because they're so lost, but you brought back happiness into their life. It's the transformation that happens. So Asuryas are not always evil. They represent the dark side, the shadow side of our existence, ambition, ego, desire. So Venus as a guru reflects the dynamic that even those who are driven by material desires, they seek wisdom. So those people that are getting to healing now after Ketu, remember, your job, your role is to help someone find their light again. Don't become egoistic. Don't operate from greed. You have to maintain the balance from the ego in this duality world. You cannot be ego-driven. So I'll stop talking about Venus there. I'm not going to do Venus from house to house today, or Venus in different nakshatras. I'll do a Venus series later on. I'm excited to get started on the healing. So I hope you guys have learned something new today. Venus is a very, very transformational knowledge gaining time. And in closing, I just want to say that Venus is a time period where in this material world, we have to find our way back to our inner purpose, inner soul, through love, art, relationship, devotion, unconditional love, and beauty. So use that beauty, use that Tantra to uplift and be one with the oneness again. I hope you have learned something new. Thank you for watching. If this is the first time, please do subscribe. And I hope you're healing well if you're in Ketu Mahadasha. And I wish you all the best. Have a great night. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. So much love to you guys. Thank you.